My name is Dr. Joshua Fredenberg. I am an international speaker, author of 7 books, and president of the Circle of Change Leadership Experience. If I was to go back to about 25 years ago, I began my journey on the campus of Long Beach State University in Long Beach, California. And when I first set foot on this campus, I was very clear what I wanted to do. Not only did I want to be a sports broadcaster, but ultimately I saw myself play on this court one day as a college basketball player who would do really well, get drafted, and make it to the NBA. This was my vision. This was my goal. This is actually one of the main reasons why I came to Long Beach, California. Unfortunately for me, after the first 3 months of experience in college and learning about all the wonderful things that were available to me on the college campus in Long Beach, California, I got the opportunity to try out for the team. And it was November 7th, and it was 1997. And I was at the tryouts, and I was doing my crossover. I was doing my passes. I was hitting my jump shots. And at the end of the tryouts, I come, and the coach calls 4 of us. So there was 4 of us left, and the coach says only one of you is going to make the team. And when he said this to us, I was a little nervous because you got to understand, for 13 years, I had been waiting for this moment that I was going to have the opportunity to play in college. And so I walked home that night, went to my dorms, and about 48 hours later, I get a phone call from the coach. And I'm assuming that the coach is going to say, "You've made the team," and my dream is getting that much more closer. But the unfortunate thing is the coach lets me know. He says, "Joshua, I hate to tell you, but you have not made the team. We decided to go in another direction." And at that moment, I was just speechless. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was just speechless. And a little moments later, I hit up the phone with the coach, and I feel like a failure. I feel like everything I worked hard to do, everything I tried to do, everything that I aspired to do since I was 6 years old, all of a sudden came to a halt. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was irritated. I was frustrated. I was sad. I was confused. I was uncertain about my future. And I even began to ask myself the question, why am I here? Why am I going to college? Is it really going to matter? This is where I was at that moment of dealing with this catastrophic event for me personally as it related to my dreams and my ambition. Thankfully, though, despite the emotional and the mental challenges, not only did I embrace the collegiate experience, but I decided that I was going to shake off the negative experience. I decided I was going to attack the negative circumstance, and I was going to move forward and embrace the collegiate experience. And it all began in a communications class where I was asked to do a presentation for 5 minutes. And when I was asked to do this presentation, not only did I get an A, but more importantly, I learned that I had a gift to speak. In essence, I took this communications class, and the professor gave us the assignment to give this presentation. And so here I am, nervous, and I'm moving around, and I'm getting ready to give this presentation. And then as I start speaking and I start communicating, the professor's like, "Yeah, keep going, keep going." And I'm just articulating, and I'm speaking, and I'm giving my message, and I'm feeling all good. And at the end, the professor says, "Well done, you've got an A." And I was excited, y'all, because for the first time since the failure, I actually found something that I was good at. And because I was good as a speaker, I decided to take a debate and argumentation class. And so the next semester, I'm in this debate and argumentation class. And not only was I undefeated, but I learned that I had a passion to speak. So a year removed from failure, I discovered a gift and I discovered a passion that I had to become a speaker, to communicate and share my message with the world. And then there I am, 20 years of age, and this is a picture of me back in my college days. And I get the opportunity to give my first formal presentation in front of a small group of people that were part of a campus-based organization. And with so much nerves and excitement, I give my presentation, I'm articulating my points, and at the end of my presentation, literally 50% of people are bawling in tears. And at that moment, I had what I call the epiphany moment. This is where college changed my life, because at this moment, I received a vision, I received a dream that one day I was going to travel the country and I was going to make an impact as an international speaker. In essence, my vision at this moment was to travel, was to inspire, and was to change lives. And literally, from this moment forward, not only did I maximize the opportunities that were available to me as a college student, but once I graduated, fast forward 20 years forward, and now I've spoken in 49 different states. I've been serving as a professional speaker for the past 16 plus years, have written multiple books, but most importantly, I've been able to go back to the place where my life was transformed and inspire, empower, and challenge college students to do the same. Embrace the college experience, maximize the moment, and watch what will happen in your life. And all this transpired despite the challenges that I faced in life. In essence, anytime I talk to students, I tell them that college is the greatest experience ever, because not only are there several incredible things to do, but more importantly for me, it literally changed my life. As I reflect back on my collegiate journey and I reflect back on what transpired 25 years ago, there's a variety of lessons that I believe are so important for new students and college students to hear. But there are three specific things that I believe are vitally important as it relates to the theme of this conversation. The first thing is this, that if you're going to succeed in college and beyond, you got to activate the seeds of greatness. And this is one of the things that I learned in my collegiate journey is not only did I step on campus with a set of abilities, gifts, passions, or what I call seeds of greatness, but I really began to flourish. I really began to maximize. I really began to position myself for career success when I activated the seeds of greatness. And I believe that when we help students identify and activate their seeds of greatness, not only are they able to maximize the collegiate experience, but more importantly, they're able to use college as a launching pad for future career success. The second thing that I would share with students is this: develop a career development map. You may be saying, Dr. J, what is a career development map? A career development map is not only a clear, concise Instagram picture of your future, or what I like to call a vision, but it's a set of goals. It's a set of steps that you plan to accomplish throughout your collegiate journey in order to make your vision a reality. In essence, when we effectively create what I call the career development map, not only do I got a picture of my future, but I'm aware of my goals. I'm aware of what skills to develop, what competencies to develop, what organizations to join, what events to go to, what professors to talk to, what internships, what professional organizations, and a variety of other things that I believe students can implement that will not only enable them to have the greatest collegiate experience ever in their life, but more importantly, will enable them to use college as a launching pad for future career success. The last thing I would tell them is embrace and attack the challenge. One of the things that I've learned in my collegiate journey is that we're all going to face challenges. We're all going to face obstacles. But Tony Robbins once said that there would not be a solution without a problem. Or in essence, we would not grow without a problem. In essence, without the problem, there's no growth. There's no development. We'll never reach our fullest potential because the challenges, the obstacles, and the trials of life are only there to help us grow, develop, and become that much more better. And I would encourage students to embrace these moments, embrace these challenges, embrace these obstacles, because these are the things in life that enable us to propel, to grow, and reach our fullest potential. It's one of the reasons I love the quote by Frederick Douglass where he says, where there is no struggle, there is no progress. In essence, he understood that struggle is the process to progress. And when students learn how to embrace the challenge, embrace the obstacles, then they learn how to grow, to flourish, and to succeed. In essence, if I have the opportunity to speak to new students all across the country, 3 simple things that I would share with them, if I only had 3 things to share, is you got to activate the seeds of greatness. You got to develop a career development plan, and you got to embrace every challenge and obstacle with a growth mindset and the fundamentals of resiliency. And if you're able to do that, not only do I believe that you will thrive, that you will succeed and reach your fullest potential in college, but you'll position yourself for future career success as well. And it's one of the reasons I tell students this all the time. College is not just about graduation or GPA. It's about learning the skills, the habits, the competencies, having the experiences that enable you to thrive, succeed, and reach your fullest potential in college and beyond. In essence, what I've learned in my journey throughout college and the professional world is I've learned that when I began my journey, I got to activate the seeds of greatness, develop a career development plan, and embrace the challenge or the obstacle with a growth mindset and the fundamentals of resiliency. I believe this is critical to the progress and the success of our new students all across the world. Now that I've finished my quick presentation, I'm gonna take 2 minutes really quickly for each of the speakers, including myself. And for the next 2 minutes, you'll see on the screen there is a Talkadoc. This Talkadoc is an opportunity not only for you to let me know how you felt about the presentation, but more importantly, if you're interested in bringing this program to your orientation, to your welcome week, or your first year experience, all you have to do is scan it with your phone, or you can insert the URL within your browser, and it takes you literally about 90 seconds to complete. So really quickly, Mike is going to play some music, and I'm going to ask you to take this moment just to complete the survey on not only how you felt about the presentation, but more importantly, if you feel that this is a presentation that would be valuable to your campus community, your new students, this is your moment to let me know if you would be interested in bringing me to your campus community this summer, fall, or even spring of next year. So here you go. And for the next 90 seconds, I'm going to give you the opportunity to complete that survey. Now that I've completed my story, I'm getting ready to introduce our next speaker. She's definitely no stranger to these events. She's an exceptional speaker. She's amazing. She's like a sister to me. And so without further ado, please give it up for my girl from the ATL, Tish Norman.
The reason that I know we and you are in the right place at the right time is because you will hear and see and experience that all of our messages overlap and reinforce with what one another is saying. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are checking in from. My name is Tish Norman. I am your favorite moderator of Conversations That Matter. I'm so excited to be here this afternoon, and I am so excited to share this message with you. Everybody type in the chat right now the name of my presentation, Best Year Ever. Everybody type that in, Best Year Ever. Because right now I'm coming on that energy. Come on, I see you. Yes, yes, yes. Best Year ever. I'm coming on that energy right now from my man Big Sean, hip hop artist from Detroit, that said, last night I took an L, but tonight I bounced back. He was really talking about what Dr. J just talked about, y'all. He's talking about resiliency. He's talking about he partied really hard last night. He took an L, right? He took a loss. But tonight, he's going to go hard in the club again, or at least that's how I understand his song to be. So I, in the same way, want to bring that message to you as you prepare to have the next wave of students come in so that they can have what? The best year ever. Last year we took a L, but this year we bounced back, all right? So listen, I'm very pragmatic. I'm a thinker. I am a planner. And I am a strategizer. So I am going to lay out 3 points. Somebody say 3 points. Either say it or put it in the chat. 3 points that I want to leave with each and every one of you as you are considering and or planning for freshman orientation, new student orientation, welcome week, or all of those things that happen at the beginning of the year. If we have students on here, this information is applicable to you just the same. All right, listen, let me just say this. I am, and I know this word has been thrown around a lot recently, everybody, in the last, 10, 15 years, or at least in more professional environments, the more that we're digging into DE&I topics. I am unapologetically privileged, okay? I am unapologetically privileged. I acknowledge it and I embrace it, okay? I am not going to minimize, I am not going to shrink, or I am not going to turn inward to make someone else comfortable who may not have had the same experiences that I've had. I am not saying that I am better than you. And if you are way more privileged than me, I'm not saying that you're better than me. I'm saying that just like this panel today, we all have different backgrounds. We all have diverse experiences, and we are diverse by nature. When I got taken to college in the 90s, my whole family went. I didn't take a bus. I didn't go on a plane by myself. I didn't take an Uber with some luggage. I had a blessed collegiate experience. And I say that unapologetically. My mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my dad, my cousins. Now, let me explain this. My roommate was my cousin. So we had family there, to see her off and to see me off. But our families came together to prepare us, our room, our environment, so that we were set up for success. And I am starting out by saying that what my family did is my first point that I want to leave with you today. They elevated the experience. Somebody type that in the chat right now. My first point that I talk about in how we can cultivate the best year ever, elevate the experience. Now, what does that mean? For some of you, that means take it to the next level. What my aunt and my mom and my cousins did, they set our room up, they hung drapes up, they helped us unpack, they put a little flower on our desk, they elevated the experience. Now, when we finished unpacking and they went home and it was just my cousin and I, my roommate, we then had to decide to elevate the experience. We can go to class and go back to the room. We can go to the room and go to class. We can go to class and go back to the room. Or we could meet friends along the way. We can get involved in some extracurricular activities that we were good at and that we enjoyed. We chose to elevate the experience. You can only get out of it what you put into it. So what's that little extra seasoning that you're going to use on your salad of life? What are you going to do to elevate the experience? So if we want a dynamic experience to and through college, we have to elevate the experience. That's number one. Number two, real quick, I'm actually going to borrow a quote from Albert Einstein, who said, adversity introduces a man to himself. Somebody write that down. It's a long quote, but write it down in chat. Adversity introduces a man to himself. Well, what are you saying, Miss Tish? What I'm saying is you don't know who you are until you're put in tricky situations. I think of Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, people are like tea bags. You don't know what you're made of until you're put in hot water. So in college, you're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to have failures and successes. In college, you're going to have opportunities where you find like your stomach hurting because you're anxious. And then you're going to have opportunities where people stand up and give you a roaring round of applause. The way that life is set up, the way that God and the universe sets up life is that it's only in the valley experiences that we get to know who we really are. Here's the good news. Want the good news? Somebody type in good news. Here's the good news. You are not yet, or for my advisors on here, you are leading, coaching, inspiring, facilitating the growth and development of young people who are not who they have ultimately become yet. You are facilitating their becoming. So if you don't have a degree in education, it's okay. If you have a degree in business or zoology, but you're in this position that you're in right now, I am here to say that I'm deeming you as a coach. I'm deeming you as a teacher. I'm deeming you as an educator, because if you call yourself a student-facing advisor, a student-facing professional, your responsibility is to cultivate and to support the development of the young people that you lead. So Albert Einstein knew what he meant when he said adversity introduces a man to himself. Last point, here we go. Number 3, everybody. Number 3, my final point. Your confidence is a two-edged sword. I can give you the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. You can study all the books that you want to study all day long, all night long. But I'm going to tell you what, confidence is the secret ingredient. You know how grandmama makes that sweet potato pie, but she won't tell you that little special ingredient because it's secret, even though you prod and pry and you ask her and she still won't tell you. Well, confidence is the secret ingredient. It's secret ingredient. Confidence is a two-edged sword. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Number 1, your confidence only grows when you step outside of your comfort zone. And then your confidence also grows when you're thriving and flourishing in your comfort zone. How do I know that? Because my freshman year of college, I was 2 weeks new on campus, and here I go running for Miss Freshman. And I'm up on the stage, everybody, and I am performing my little heart out. I got my prom dress. I'm wearing it in the, evening gown competition, but I'm up there performing my little heart out as a freshman. And guess what? There were people in the front row going, boo. It was straight showtime at the Apollo, y'all. I was just tap dancing my heart out, and they were up in the front row, boo, boo. I mean, I got it. If they had tomatoes, they probably would have thrown it. But guess what? I didn't walk off that stage with my tail between my legs. I stayed on that stage. I performed my heart out, and I dropped the mic. I left it all on the stage. And had I not gone through that, then my confidence in standing the test of time would have never begun to develop. So confidence, remember this, is a two-edged sword. It grows and develops when you are doing the thing that you love and doing it well. And it also develops when you crash and burn. That's why confidence is the business secret sauce. So what are you doing as you're leading young people to and through college? What are you doing to develop your confidence so that your belief in yourself is maintained and increased? So that when the students see you, they know they are getting the best and highest version of yourself. What are you doing to instill in those that you lead that their confidence is something that needs to grow and develop along their journey? In my last minute, everybody, as I take my virtual seat, let me review those real quick. And thank you for enlightening me in the chat, y'all. Number one, elevate the experience. Do something extra. Be the first one to class and sit in the T. That means in the front and in the center. Sit in the T, do something extra. Introduce yourself to your professor the first day of class and shake their hand. If it's a virtual professor, send them an extra note so they get to know you and you stand outside of the status quo. Elevate the experience. Number two, for my incoming next wave of dope leaders, remember the Albert Einstein quote. Adversity introduces a man or woman to themselves. So it's only in those valley experiences. It's only when your feelings get hurt. It's only when you get an F on a test that you got to study harder. It's only when you're struggling in class that you're going to find a study group that meets in the library on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 5 to 6:30. You're only going to do what you need to do when adversity rears its ugly head. And then my last point, here we go, my last point. Your confidence is a two-edged sword. Your confidence only develops when you step outside of your comfort zone. Think about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? They picked on him because he was different. His self-esteem was suffering because he was different. He had a big old red nose and everybody else had a regular black nose. But it was only until Santa appointed Rudolph to do something different, not just something different, but to lead the rest of the people who at one time were talking about him. Somebody say amen. That's all right. You don't have to say it. I know you're thinking it. So you will go and can go from the back to the front. And all those people who were talking about you, Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Are you serious, Santa? You want me? Absolutely. I want you. I'm going to take you from the last to the first. And not just the first, but you're going to lead. And nobody's going to be beside you. You're going to be in a lane all by yourself. So everybody, Dr. J, is that my talk-a-dot?
Are you talk-a-dot, Tish? That's your talk-a-dot, Tish.
Listen, yes, everybody. Dr. J has my talk-a-dot up on the screen right now. And in case you don't know what a talk-a-dot is is simply a survey. As DJ producer Flotron puts on a little music, take 90 seconds, take your phone out, open up to the picture camera, scan that QR code, take 90 seconds, and share with me what one of those takeaways you had as we're doing this little mini virtual TEDx talk with Dr. J this afternoon. So thank you all so much. We want to hear from you. And I am dropping the mic and passing it on to my man, DC, checking in from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hey!
Our next speaker is definitely no stranger to campuses. He's actually been speaking longer than all of us, 14-time Speaker of the Year, known as the Dating Doctor, but has so much more other things to share, has been doing new student-oriented parent orientation for several years. And it's my honor and privilege to please introduce David Coleman, coming all the way from Ohio. David, it's in your hands. Welcome, and take it away. Let's go.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me clap. For those of you that know speakers at all, following Dr. J and Tish on stage is like following Santa on Christmas morning. So I'm going to do my absolute best. I know we have just a little bit of time. I'm going to share my screen real quickly with you. First things first, if you don't mind, if you'll take a quick screenshot, I've given you a bit of a gift this morning. Each one of those QR codes, which you don't have to open right now, but I'd like to give them to you. One is the flyer that I give out when I speak on relationships. One is the flyer that I give out virtually when I speak on leadership. And quite often when I'm speaking for an orientation program, I go ahead and give them both out anyway. So please take a quick screenshot, go ahead and have them. You'll have them with you. Next, let me say this. First of all, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all four of us who are speaking today. Why? Because without you and without what you do for a living, this event wouldn't be necessary and it would be meaningless. Why? We're not going to speak to each other. We're speaking to professionals who have the best interest and the heart, mind, body, of soul of every student in mind who are trying to better themselves. And number two, I think you would agree with this, with all 30 some of you that are watching this and with the 4 of us panelists today, orientation is not about us. It's not about us, but I don't think it can happen without us. It sure can't happen without you, all the work you're doing back on your campuses. And I believe that each one of us bring a different perspective in an area of expertise. Every time I'm on one of these and Joshua or Tish talks, and I'm just meeting Jarrod today for the first time, I end up taking notes. It happens every time. If that's happening for me, imagine what's happening for your students. Now, before I go to the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to ask you to use the chat really quickly. NACA, the National Association for Campus Activities, recently did a nationwide survey of students. One of the things they asked and they found out were the top stressors that students are facing. What are the top college student stressors? So if you don't mind, before I move on and tell you what they came up with, would you pop into the chat what you believe the top 1 or 2 student stressors might be? If you'll do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. First things that come to your mind, what do you think? I see depression. I see it. Finances. Thank you, Evan. Couple more. Not focusing. Got it. Academics. All right. I see it. Keep putting them in. Do not let what I'm doing make a difference. What they came up with after interviewing students all over this country was this. Number 1, finances. Where are they going to find the money to pay for school? Number 2, grades. Every student gets back at least 1 paper or 1 project or 1 something with a grade they weren't hoping for. And why do I do what I do for a living? Why am I the dating doctor? Why do I go to college campuses? Because number 3, overwhelmingly, was relationship issues that impact their self-esteem. When it comes down to it, everything that Dr. J talked about, everything that Tish talks about, everything I'm going to talk about, and I haven't heard Jarrod, but I'll bet he's going to be here. We are trying to help students form a connection, a sense of belonging, and to feel like they are being included. If they can keep their grades up, if they have the money to go back to school, if we help them form a connection to campus and to other people, to feel like they belong and to feel like they're included, pretty decent chance that they're going to stay in school and move on to do what they want to do. And when I speak on a college campus, and I realize that I might not be talking to students today, but I want you to understand what I say to them. When I'm speaking to a large audience or a small audience of new students, they need to understand that some of their friendships and their involvements might turn out to be temporary, and that's okay. The people that they get to meet and know that help them through those first 2 weeks when they are homesick and they are trying to acclimate to a new place might not be one of their best friends 1, 2, 3, or 4 years from now. Something they joined during welcome week because they go to club day might not be, it might not work for them. And they might say, I want to join something else. And that's okay, because we all know that college life is a progression and it builds upon whatever we want to do next. And what I try when I'm in front of a group of students, what I say is this. I'm pretty direct, folks. If you've never seen me speak to a group, I like to have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, but I like to be direct. And I ask them to join 4 things. Number 1, I want them to join something they already love. Why? They will meet like-minded people. Number 2, I want them to join something that will challenge them. Maybe they've never been a gamer. Maybe they can't draw. Maybe something speaking in front of a group like this would throw them into just being frozen. Maybe they get involved in something that would allow them to challenge who they are, like Dr. J said. Number 3, I want them to join a team or a volunteer-related activity. Why? Because COVID sucked. COVID took us out of our teamwork, and I want us back in it. And number 4, if I end up in front of your group of students, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell them to get a job. I want them to get a job. I don't cuss very often. Get a damn job. I don't care if it's 5 hours a week. I don't care. Why? There's something about earning your own money. Everybody give me a wave or a thumbs up or a clap if you can remember the first paycheck you ever got. Remember the first paycheck you ever got? Remember that feeling of spending your own money? Do you understand? Our students need to remember what it's like to have a job. I don't like that job. I don't care. I don't care if it's 5 hours, get in there and do it. I want to share a true story with you. I don't want to go over my time today. Folks, sometimes life's lessons are taught for us. And if you look at the screen really quickly, the gentleman and the lady on the left, that was my mother and father. I miss them dearly. That was their 50th wedding anniversary. That was my dad on the left. On the right, in the overalls, looking about as cute as a guy can look, right, Tish, is me, my freshman year at Bowling Green State University. And why do I have a royal flush in the middle? because my father was in the gaming industry. By the time I took my first step onto a college campus, I could teach you how to gamble on anything in the world. Now, I took that with me to college. So here's what happened. I go to Bowling Green State University in Northwest Ohio. It's in the Children of the Corn part of Ohio. There's not much else there. And what happens, I get there, and my roommate and I and some other people, we realized that we didn't have digital cards. We didn't have cards back then. We had coupon books. And those coupon books had $5 coupons, $1 coupons, 50-cent coupons. They could be torn out. Well, as college students, we quickly figured out, well, there's our cash. It's just like cash. Why don't we gamble? So my father decides to come up and see me one weekend. And I am, by the time he gets to campus, I'm in a pretty big poker game. I lived in a residence hall. We were using the lounge. Nobody cared back then. And here we are. We're in this. Yeah, there were beers on the table. I'm not going to take them out of the picture and offend anyone. But back then, there were probably a couple beers on the table. And here we were playing poker. And because I had grown up with a father in the gaming industry, I was a better poker player than everybody else on my floor. So what was I doing? I was beating them. I had, instead of those being chips, imagine everybody's torn out coupons. The coupons they were going to use to eat with were now in front of me. My father walks in. He goes, hey, everybody goes crazy. Hey, Mr. Coleman, what's going on? Mr. C. He said, David, you know, I'm kind of hungry. Would you run across the street and grab me a burger? I love a burger and some fries. Get me a coffee. I said, sure, Dad. He goes, I'm going to sit down and play for you while you're gone. I'm like, all right, Dad, you're a better player than I am. What happens? My father, in the 15 minutes that I am gone, true story, my father plays every hand, stays in, raises, drops, raises, drops. I come back 15 minutes later. There's like 4 little coupons in front of him now. There might be $1 and a couple of nickels. The hundreds of dollars in money that I had in front of me, food coupons that was there when I went to go get my father, he had stayed and lost. And I walked in, I was an immature freshman. I said, Dad, are you kidding me? He said, gentlemen, give me a minute. He walked me to my room and he had some words with me. And he said the following thing to me, and I hope you don't mind me sharing it. And if you want to take a screenshot, please do. My father said to me, the next time you tell me about time spent with your friends, I want to hear the words laughter and fun, not how much you took from anyone. It changed my life. My dad said, look, you ever need anything, we're a family. Get a job, make a few bucks. Just because you were raised differently and have an advantage over someone, don't use that advantage over them in a negative way. The next time you tell me about the time you spent with someone, I want to hear the words laughter and fun, not how much you took from anyone. We do what we do, folks, because we're trying to make a difference in these young people's lives. And the last thing I'm going to say to you is this. Whenever I leave stage, whenever I'm doing an orientation program, my orientation speaking is my second, I'm going to be honest, it's my second favorite speaking that I do. My first is when I visit our military bases or vessels all over the world. The military is my number one audience because they're doing amazing things for us and they're so appreciative and thankful. Number 2, I love to talk to our new students and parents and families. Why? Because we make such a difference in their lives. And I'm going to leave them on a call to action if I speak on your campus. Number 1, I want them to be intentional. Every single interaction that we have with another person matters. How do you feel so far? You got to meet Josh. You got to meet Tish. You're hearing me. I met Jarrod. He changed my life in 10 seconds. Be intentional because what we do matters. Number 2, we have to be adaptable. And whether it's resilient, whether it's adaptable, whether it's versatile, I don't care what word you use. If COVID taught us nothing else, is we have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow, and we better be ready for it. Number 3, I want you and I want the students to be respectfully social. Every post, every like, every comment, everything they do or say leaves an impact on the recipient and it impacts their brand. Every student walking your campus is a walking brand. Every one of you on this call today, on this Zoom today, you're a walking brand. What brand do we want people to see? And finally, I want them to leave their unique legacy. I want our students to stop staring right into their phones, stop ignoring legalized avoidance, avoiding each other. Let's be authentic, genuine, and real. Let's get back to being human beings first, who happen to have great digital equipment second. I'm going to stop right there. I don't want to go past. Again, thank you for your time. Your attendance today is so appreciated. And please know, I know Joshua well enough and I know Tish well enough. Thank you for bringing us to your campus. Thank you for letting us become part of the family. Thank you for letting us positively impact students and their families. And thank you for your attendance today. I appreciate it.
Dave, that was amazing. Can y'all light up the chat right now and just let Dave know that you appreciate him and that you're so thankful for what he has done today. There were so many things that I was able to grab, but the 4 things that he shared at the end: number 1, he said, be intentional. Number 2, he said, be adaptable. Number 3, he said, be respectively social. And then number 4, leave your unique legacy. I don't know about you, but again, my daughter is 14 years of age. My son is getting ready to turn 7 on April 1st. And if they were getting ready to go to college right now, I would be like, listen to Dave, listen to Tish. I got some wisdom for you, and listen to Jarrod as well. Phenomenal speakers, phenomenal insight, phenomenal wisdom. And most importantly, everyone cares about the success of students. And that's why I'm so privileged and honored to have them with us today. So I'm super excited to introduce our next speaker. Met Jarrod Benjamin about 3 to 4 years ago. Number 1, he's part of the greatest fraternity in the world, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Number 2, he's a brother. Number 3, he's an incredible speaker. And number 4, every time I'm in his presence, I'm impacted, I'm transformed, and I'm inspired. And so I'm super excited to have Jarrod here today. I know he has a great message. I know he's a great person. And just like Dave and Tish, he's someone I would definitely encourage you to consider for your campus as well. And so without further ado, please give it up for my man, Jarrod Benjamin.
Man, thank you so much, Josh, for the opportunity. DC, you did a phenomenal job. Tish, you're a heavy hitter. Just to be in your presence. And Josh, it ain't nothing you're going to ask me to do. I'm going to say no to because you're my people. Y'all be sure y'all follow your boy if you can. I want to be intentional about the time I have with you today. So I'm only going to do 2 points, but the 2 points mean a lot to me, and I'm hoping they leave an impact to you. The first thing I want to tell everyone to do, whether you're faculty, your staff, your parents, you're a student, we need to come to class, come to the institution, come to college ready to do what? Show up. I know that seems, in its simplicity, it means so much. Show up. Showing up is going to be half of what gets you to the finish line. And I get it. There's going to be some other tools you're going to need on your tool bag, but showing up is incredibly important. Let me tell you why showing up is important. How many folks remember this person on the screen? Everybody remember Steve Burke. Everybody remember Jaleel White, right? Everybody remember Steve Burke. Well, let me tell you, to be quite honest, Steve Burke's dad was a post office worker. He read the casting call in the newspaper. And he was like, Dad, I want to go do a casting call. And he was like, no, son, to be quite honest, I want you to be a post office worker because I already talked to the postmaster. And when I retire, they're going to give you my job. He's like, no, Dad, please drop me off. He said, no problem. What I'm going to do is at 6 o'clock in the morning, you hop in the mail truck and I'm going to take you with me down to the set. He drops him off on the set. He picks him up the next morning, Tish, and come to find out, he don't get selected. His dad says, I told you so. He was hurt. He was confused. He didn't know what else to do. But guess what? The next day, put a little oatmeal on his stomach, jump right back up in the mail truck. His dad said, what's going on? Is there a casting call today? He says, no, Dad, it's not a casting call. I just want to be there. So every day for 2 weeks, he just stood there. While some folks were saying lines, he mumbled the lines, sat in the corner, did not get selected. You hear me? But he showed up. And so now the ratings have failed. They come to the director. They're letting them know, hey, we're going to have to cancel the show. The commercials don't want to buy into this anymore. No one's feeling the vibe. So the director, and I'm gonna be honest, when I read this case study out, I was kind of like in a place where, okay, some actors gonna lose a job. I didn't unpack it. Come to find out the actors are gonna lose the job. The wardrobe consultants lose a job. The makeup artists lose a job. The camera crew lose a job. The custodial staff lose a job. By this show being canceled, lives was gonna be impacted. He says, well, how about we make it a sitcom? So, and then he goes, I don't have the time to do another casting call. There's more the resources. But he remembered that little boy who showed up. And so the next day when he comes to show up, he says, can you pull your britches up high as you can? Put some glasses on. I want you to say, did I do that? Now we remember the line because it drove us crazy on TGIF. Come to find out at 7 o'clock was Full House, 8 o'clock was Step by Step, and 7:30 was Family Matters. Better act like you know. And so what I'm trying to help you understand is he tells them to say this one line, it changes this live set's whole mood. Everybody busts out laughing. Now, why do I bring this show up? Now, for those who don't know, Steve Burke had a crush on Laura. Laura was his quasi-boo in his mind. She didn't feel him back, but she had a crush on Stefan. Why do I bring Stefan up? Because they end up introducing Stefan around the 3rd season. Laura's little sister was Julie. Julie won't matter much because they wrote her off the show to be able to afford Steve Urkel on the show. It gets a little bit more impactful because around about season 5, Now Stephon is established, and Mama Winslow, who we all loved, the grandma, never had a funeral but disappeared because they wrote her off the show because he required 2 checks in his contract because he was 2 different actors. A lot of that won't make sense, but let me close it real good. What I'm really trying to share with you is, had he quit showing up when he got the first no, opportunity would have left. But because he showed up even against the no, when the opportunity presented itself, he was present to receive the opportunity. There's going to be some students that go to college that might not get the first yes. They may not get the class of their choice and have to get up get them a good 8 o'clock in the morning classes, but they still need to show up. They may run for office, SGA, Royal Court, student, try to join a Greek letter or selective-based organization, get a no, but still show up. They may not get the scholarship of choice, but get a partial scholarship, still show up. Because if you can show up, it shows a level of determination that will blow your mind. Let me tell you why I really got excited about it. As I unpack it, now the reruns show in Europe. They do voiceovers. You know what I'm talking about when they do like this here? And then the words catch up with the mouth. Come on now, y'all know what a voiceover is. In Europe, they're doing a German voiceover on top of the reruns, and he yielded $1.6 million in royalties when his dad told him he was supposed to be a post office worker. Parents, I'm talking to you. When the parents are there, just know you can't push your dream on your child. Allow your child to establish their own dream when going to college because they have to show up for themselves. It's called showing up. Showing up is my first point, and I want you to be sure you take that point with you. In my last few minutes with you, I think it's important that we recognize 3 banks exist. And when I was a sophomore in college, I can remember it like yesterday. I was a what they call a work study worker. Through my Pell Grant and my financial aid, I was able to work at work study. Now, y'all, you know, it was some time ago because I only got $5.15 an hour and was only given 20 hours a week. And I can remember going on dates, looking at that debit card, hoping that thing went through. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't take full responsibility. I blamed Wells Fargo. How dare you let my account get overdraft? I got in that Chevrolet Cavalier, and to be quite honest, I didn't have a lot of gas. My friend wanted to ride with me. He said, will you take me to the store? Now, DC, I got frustrated with my friend because as soon as he got in the car, he says, your gas light on. I'm like, man, get out of my business. I know my gas light on. You ain't got to tell everybody. Look the other way. Everybody know when your gas light on, there's certain rules you do. One, you don't let your air conditioner blow. Come on, somebody. I know I ain't the only person been through this. The second rule is, to be quite honest, my gas light was on so long, I got to be real. I told him, don't even play the radio. I don't know if it's going to help, but keep everything off. And matter of fact, don't even talk to me. Turn your head the other way. We get to the bank called Chase. I had $10 in my pocket and wanted to open up a new account. I'm a military veteran, but I'm also a college student at that time. And so I offered to him, I'm a veteran and a college student, because I was trying to catch a little sale, if you will. They tell me it's going to be $25 to open up a checking and $25 to open up a savings. I said, I had to pretend like I had a phone call and leave. Y'all ain't got that kind of bread. And so I get in the car. My boy said, you just going to ride all over the city. On my way back to the yard, I decided to go into a Bank of America. I heard the lady say, can I help you? But I saw them free peppermints and them free ink pens. Ain't nothing like a free ink pen. You better act like you know how them things, right? I grabbed a few peppermints, 3 for me and 3 for my girlfriend, Tish. And I decided to tell the lady I wanted to open up an account. She said, you can open up a checking and a savings of $5 each. I said, hold on now. That's what I got. Why do I bring this story up to you today? Because what I did is I knew what I had to offer against the capacity that was required of me. See, when I went to the bank, I knew what I had in my possession, and I knew what was required of me to build a relationship with the bank. What I need you to do is when you offer yourself as a student leader, offer yourself as a student at these institutions, be sure you're weighing expectation against capacity. Don't commit yourself to everything because you'll suffer from this thing we call burnout. Be sure you manage capacity against the inventory that you bring to the table. So if you're struggling, let's keep it real. With time management, 18 hours shouldn't be your first semester. Let's lean in that thing with a full load, but maybe not 18 hours. If you struggle with teamwork, Greek life orgs probably ain't your flavor. You don't want to do that immediately. Come on now. If you struggle with delegation, you might not be. What you want to do is measure your capacity. And if you measure your capacity, you'll always meet expectation. So I'm simply saying you today, as you dig into your orientation toolkit, be sure you put a few tools in that bag. The first tool is showing up. The next tool is measuring expectation. And the last tool is avoiding burnout. I truly thank you for your time today. And I thank you for your energy. And I want us to make a commitment that we're going to be masters and champions at managing our time, honoring our commitment, and always showing up. Josh, it's always a pleasure. Tish, DC, and Josh going behind y'all.
Boy, you make a brother work hard, but I'm so privileged to be in a friendship and a relationship with such amazing speakers such as yourself. Y'all keep on keeping on and be sure that we champion the campus for providing an opportunity for students to succeed. It's been great, and I hope to see you real soon on your campuses. Y'all take it easy.
Awesome, 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 phenomenal. Thank you so much, Jarrod. Can y'all give Jarrod a big round of applause in virtual land? Let Jarrod know that you appreciate him and appreciate what he said. He talked about we got to show up. We got to manage our capacity in alignment with our responsibilities. And he said, whatever you do, do not burn out. Again, some phenomenal information. We're so grateful that Jarrod took time today to be here to drop these nuggets with us. On the screen, you'll see Jarrod has a QR code up as well. This is another assessment. And so for the next 90 seconds, I'm going to ask you to scan the QR code, write the information in your web browser, and not only let Jarrod know how you felt about the presentation, but let him know whether or not you may be interested in having him come serve as a guest speaker for your orientation, welcome week, or first year experience program this year as well. So I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to complete 90 seconds to complete that assessment. And after that, we're going to get ready to bring the wheel up, y'all. And someone here today is going to receive a free Cash App as well. So if you have not commented yet, this is your moment to make sure that Mike can add you to the wheel. So I would do it while you're filling out Jarrod's assessment. I would make sure that you let yourself know as well. So you got about 90 seconds. And I'm going to let you complete the form that Jarrod has provided for us today. I want to thank you all so much for being a part of this virtual showcase today. It's been a phenomenal day today. I'm so thankful not only for Jarrod, but for Dave and for Tish. And if you were not taking notes, I think it's always good for a moderator to recap what has been said. And so I began the presentation today, number one, talking about activating your seeds of greatness, developing a career development map, embracing the challenge, and attacking it with a growth mindset. Then Tish said, you got to elevate our experience. Adversity introduces us to ourselves. So embrace the adversity and be confident, because your confidence is a two-edged sword. And then Dave came on and said, get a job. He said, be intentional, be adaptable, and leave a unique legacy. And then Jarrod concluded by saying, you got to show up. You got to manage your capacity against your responsibilities. And whatever you do, don't allow yourself to burn out. 12 phenomenal points that I hope that you will not only take for yourself, but you will share with your students on your respective campuses. And again, as we said earlier, if you're interested in either of the speakers that's been featured today, we would all love to come to your campus. And also, if you're interested in I was thinking about this as I was speaking, or as I was going through it, if you're interested in having all of us together, send me an email, Mike. You can put that in the email box as well, and we can talk about a combo package as well. Because again, as I said, I think everyone has a phenomenal message for our students, for our professionals, and for our campus communities. And so I'm just encouraging you to consider reaching out to someone for this upcoming year.